Let's get started. A voltage drop test, simply put, is a way to analyze a circuit. And try not to think of it as testing like an individual component like a bulb or a motor. Think of it as testing an entire circuit. So there's a few easy steps to follow, and if you follow these 4 steps, you will have success in testing circuits. We're looking for 3 things in this schematic. So this diagram, we have a battery, a switch, and the bulb, which is the load in the circuit. Once we've identified the load in the circuit, we know that that's where all of the voltage should be consumed. If we don't turn on the circuit, then the voltage will never make it past the switch. So that pressure is pushing all the way down this wire. It's not until we close the switch that electrons are allowed to flow through the load and back to the power source. Okay, so we know that all voltage is consumed in the circuit. And the load consumes most of that voltage. Now the power side of the circuit, from the battery through the switch all the way to the load, will consume some voltage. And it's the same with the ground side of the circuit from the load to the negative terminal. It will consume some of the voltage. Now, the power side and the ground side should not consume more than a 1/2 volt each. So let's take a look at some readings and see if there's a problem with this circuit. All right, so we're gonna turn on the circuit, or turn on the meter. Okay, so we have 12 volts at our battery. Now we're gonna look and see what kind of voltage is being consumed by the load. So the load is consuming 11 volts. So now we'll check the power side of the circuit, and it is consuming 1/10 volt. And the ground side of the circuit is consuming 9/10 volt. So there's a problem in that negative leg there. It should not be over 5/10. Now, the problem with a bulb, it probably just wouldn't be as bright as it could be. When you get into electric motors, if you have a voltage drop in a part of the circuit that's not the load, the motor would run slower, or maybe not have enough energy to crank start the engine. All right, so this last step, you need to determine the action needed to repair the circuit. So the bulb is probably not as bright as it could be. We can see that there is 9/10 of voltage drop on the ground circuit there. And one thing nice about this test is that you can cover a lot of ground with it. If that battery is at the very front of the vehicle and the lamp is at the very back of the vehicle, you tested that whole circuit. you can start to whittle down by testing smaller portions of the circuit on the way from the lamp to the battery. And typically, excessive resistance in a wire only fits in a small part of the wire. So really you can move along the circuit until you find the corrosion or the bent pin or the bad connection that is robbing the load of the voltage.